concat function, sysdate function, to underscore date function, right? So like that we have seen different functions, IAA function and all. So whenever we talk about the function, then definitely which transformation we have to create. So we have to create a transformation. In the same way, if there are any values needs to be hard coded like string or a number, then also we use expression transformation. So to hard code the values also, we use expression transformation. Okay, and then to do calculations also we use expression transformation. So again in our future classes, many of our scenarios, we will be using this expression transformation. Okay, next after that, today we will start with another transformation which is called filter transformation. Okay, today we'll start with filter transformation. In the name itself, we have a meaning called filter. Filter means to filter the data, to filter the source data. So to filter the source data, we write a condition. Okay, so inside the filter transformation, we write a condition. So it will allow you to write the condition. So remember, function means which transformation we have to create, expression transformation. Condition means which transformation we have to create, filter transformation. Okay, so here the requirement is we have a source table and with the employee number, employee name and department number. In target table also we have the same columns. While loading the data from source to target table, okay, we have to load only department number 10 records into the target. Okay, so to load only department number 10 records to the target, we have a condition DNO is equals to 10. So DNO is equal to 10. Is this the function or a condition? This is not a function. Okay, so this is a condition. DNO is equals to 10 is a condition. Okay, so to write this condition, we have to create a filter transformation. Since here we are talking about the condition, which transformation we have to create? We have to create a filter transformation. Okay, so DNO is equal to 10 is a condition. So since we have a condition to implement, we have to create a filter transformation in the mapping. Okay, so for that, what we have to do is we have to create a source table like this first. So create a table like this EMP FLT. Means for filter transformation, we have created this table. And here you have to create the table with these three columns, employee number, employee name, department number. And you create a target table. This is our target table. So here we don't have records. Okay. So after that, once the source and target tables are created, we have to import the source definition, clear all sources, import from database, connect. So now this source definition. And then target designer. So we can copy the target table. And then mapping. S1 D1 load. Click on OK. Same 6 steps for any mapping. We have to follow the same 6 steps. Drag and drop the source definition. We will be following the same 6 steps, but the requirement will be different. So here the requirement is in the source we have different department number records are there 10, 20, 30, 40. So we have to only department number 10 records into the target table. So to load the department number is equal to 10 records, so we have to write a condition. And since we are talking about the condition, so from the transformations we have to create filter transformation. You can see from that list this is the filter. Okay, so FLT create done. The filter transformation has created. After that, select all these ports, drag and drop to the filter. Okay, from filter we have to select all, we have to connect to the target definition. Okay, so like that we have to create a mapping. So this mapping we have created the mapping like normal mapping we have created. Still we have not written any condition. So to write a condition, what we have to do is open the filter transformation, right click edit, go to the properties. The first property you can see we have a condition filter condition. Okay, so filter condition, right side we have a true. So we have to open this one. Okay, so here we have to write a filter condition. Go to the like a ports tab. So here we have to select the department number. Double click is equals to 10. You no need to write a SQL query. So inside the source qualified transformation in pre-SQL or SQL or post-SQL, there only we write the SQL query, complete query. But if you have seen in the last class example expression also, there we have not written a complete query. There also we have written only the condition, filter condition. Okay, so that is dno is equals to 10. That is the filter condition. Validate and then click on OK. So like that we have a condition. So we have to write a condition like this. Click on apply. OK. Save. So if you save with that the mapping created. Now let's say for this mapping we have created the session task workflow and we have started execution. As soon as we start execute, the reader will read the first record from the source table. One Ali 10, one Ali 10 reader from the source it will send to the filter transformation. Filter transformation will check the condition. Okay, so for the first record from the source, we are getting department number 10, and in the filter transformation also we have a condition dno is equals to 10. Condition true or false? True. Since the condition true, so filter transformation will pass that record to the next transformation or a target definition. Okay, next second record after the 2 Ravi 20. So here we have 2 Ravi 20 from the source, it will pass to the filter transformation. Filter transformation, it will validate the condition. Okay, so for the second record, we have department number 20, but the condition we have written DNO is equals to 10. Is this condition true or false? Is this true or false? The condition for the second record?
True. That is 20, right?
Yeah.
True.
As per our condition, it is equal to 10, but there is a 20, it is a false.
Yeah. Okay, so condition false. So here we have in properties we have 10 DNO is equal to 10 should be there. But the second record we have 20. 20 is equal to 10 and that is true or false? 20 is equal to 10.
False.
So 20 is equal to 10 is false. It's not true. Right? So 20 equal to 10. The condition is false. It is not true. Okay, so that is the reason. What the second record will do, will it send that second record from filter transformation to the target? Will it pass that record? If the condition false, what it will do? Will it pass that record to the target?
True means yes, it will. The false is not. It will,
Okay, yeah.
take to the time.
So yes. So if the condition is true, then only it will pass that record from filter to the target. False means it will not pass that record from filter to the target. It will just leave that record. What it will do, if the filter condition doesn't satisfy for any of the record, then it will just leave that record as it is. It will not do anything for that record. Okay, so for the second record, it will not do anything. It will just leave that record as it is. Okay, next how about third record? So after second record, next it will select the third record. 3 Rajas 30. So 3 Rajas 30 from the source it will pass to the filter transformation. Filter will check the condition. Okay, if the condition is true, then only it will pass that record to the target. If the condition false, then it will just leave that record as it is. Next fourth record, yes, now we have department number 10. So for the fourth record condition will be true. Fourth record it will pass through the transformation to the target. Next and last record we have 20. So for 20 from the source it will pass to the filter. Filter will check the condition. So condition false, it will not leave that record. So filter it will just leave that record. So for whichever the record's condition is true, filter transformation will pass that record to the next transformation. If the condition false, it will just leave that record as it is and it will continue further with the processing the next record. Got it? Clear, right? So like that we will do, it will work. For this mapping, let me create a session task, workflow, and then execute and see. So from here we will copy the mapping name. So from here we have to select the corresponding mapping. This is the mapping filter. And then workflows, drag and drop, save. Now it is ready to execute. So right click, start workflow. As soon as I click on start workflow, it will be running. So here we can see the source and target statistics. So you can see from reader from the source total how many records it has read? Only 5 records. So because there are total 5 records, all the 5 records it has read and all the 5 records it has passed to the filter transformation. Filter transformation has satisfied the condition for how many records out of 5? Only 2 records. So here in target table we have only department number 10 records. Like that, you no need to write a complete query without writing the query. So just by writing the condition, so for whichever the records condition is true, only those records will be loaded into the target table. If the condition false, then it will just leave that record as it is. Clear? So this is how we have to use filter transformation to write a condition. Any questions? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay,
Clear, sir.
fine. Next. Okay, next scenario. So in the next scenario, you can see we have one source and two target tables now. Till now, till the previous scenario, we have seen loading the data from one source table to one target table. But now here we have one source and two target tables. Okay, so we have to extract the data from one source and load into two different targets. Okay, so the requirement is while loading the data from source to, so first of all, for any scenario, you have to question yourself whether I understood the requirement or not. Okay, so what is the requirement here? The requirement here is we have one source and two target tables. While loading the data from source to target table, we have to, like while loading the data from source to target table, we have to load all the department number 10 records into the first target table, all the department number 20 records we have to load into the second target table. That is the requirement. You got it? All the 10 we have to load into the first target, and all the 20 we have to load into the second target table. Got it? So from here we have department number 10, 20, 30. So 10 into first target table we have to insert, 20 into second target table we have to insert. So total how many target tables you have to create? Two target tables, one source and two target tables. Got it right? So like this. So here create a source table emp_s2, right? So here while inserting the records 10 department 20 30 10 20, and for last record you can also have the null. Null means you no need to give any you no need to pass any values. So for that record insert into table name emp_fld_s2, like this you have to insert. I'm just showing you how to pass the null value 6. Okay, and the name john, that's it. Okay, insert into table name values, like this you have to write. For the third column you no need to pass the value. So if you don't need, if you are not going to pass the value 6 john. Okay, so let me execute. So if I execute this one kind of values, otherwise what you can do is, so insert into table name. Okay, and here you write employee number, employee name. So like this you can write. So this 6 represents employee number, John represents employee name. We don't want to pass the salary here. Okay, so that's the reason we can write, we do not write the salary column here. If we execute this one, this will work. So you can see one row inserted. Or what you can do is, okay, so you can also write like this. Okay, so you can also write like this. Here instead of writing the column names, to pass the to insert the null value, you can just write like this: employee number, employee name, comma null. So like this also you can write. So here we are not writing the column names. Okay, so we are passing 3 column values. If you are passing all column values, you no need to write the column names before values. You no need to write the column names. So if you are passing the only 2 column values, then you have to write those 2 column values belongs to column. So like that, if you insert also, this will also work. You can see one row inserted. Okay, so if you see the source table here, you will have that is S1, right? So if you see the source table, then we will have last 2 column values, none, same records. Since I am not committed, so if I roll back, so those 2 records, whatever I have inserted, those 2 records are going to be deleted. Okay, so now we will not have whatever the records I have inserted. Like this, you can insert the null value also in the target one of the column value. If you want to get the null value, so you just have to give null like this, or you can give the column names like this. So either way, the records will be inserted inside the target table. Now, so like this, now in this scenario, we have one source table and 2 tables. With the same structure, you can create a target table. So T2 underscore 1, this is our first target table. Like that, you can give the table name. Okay. And then this is second target table. Okay. So here also we don't have anything. Okay. So like that, total 3 tables you have to create to practice this scenario. One source table and 2 target tables. So our requirement is, in this source table we have department number 10, 20, 30 and null values are there. But while loading the data from one source to 2 target tables, all the department number 10 records we have to load into the first target table. All the department number 20 records we have to load into the second target table. That is our requirement. So once the source and target tables are ready, then you follow the same 6 steps here. So first import the source definition, and when it comes to the target, how many target definitions we have to import?
Only one, I guess.
So how many target definitions we have to import?
Two.
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 Two target definitions, because we have two tables, right? Two target tables we have, so that is the reason we have to import two target definitions. So this is the first target definition, connect, and then so again go to the menu target, that is the first target definition. Now the second target definition also this.
But we have already created first target definition, so we cannot use this.
No, those two are different tables.
Okay.
So these two are the different. This is different table. This is different table. Those two are different. In this table, I want to load all the department number 10 records. Okay, and in this table, we have to load only department number 20. How we can use the same table? We cannot use the same table. Okay, so we cannot use the same table. Go to the menu matrix, underscore emp flt s2 t2. So like that, some name we can give. This is the source. We have only one source definition, and we have two target tables, flt1 and flt2. So like this, we have to drag and drop one source and two target definition. This is the first target definition. This is second target definition. So what is our requirement? From source, we have to load all the department number 10 records to the first target, and all the department number 20 to the second target. That is our requirement. Now, tell me here, total how many conditions we have now to load the data 10 into one target, 20 into another target? How many conditions are there?
Two conditions.
Okay, two conditions we have. So two conditions are there. One is DNO is equal to 10. The second one is DNO is equal to 20. Like that, we have two conditions. If there are two conditions in the previous mapping, so whatever previous mapping we have created, to write a condition, which transformation we have created? We have created filter transformation, right? So here we have written a condition. So condition means we have to create filter transformation. Here also we are talking about the conditions. Two conditions are there. So here we have already written one condition, DNO equal to 10. Now we have one more condition to write, DNO is equal to 20. So can we write DNO is equal to 20 condition here? Two conditions can we write in the same transformation?
No. Be successful validation. I mean, it won't validate.
So here filter transformation will allow to write only one condition. Okay, so do we have any other button here to add one more condition to the same filter? Do we have any button here to add one more condition to the same filter? No, right? So that means remember, one filter transformation allows to write only one condition. Okay, so each filter transformation allows to write only one condition. We cannot write multiple conditions in one filter transformation. Okay, so we cannot write one more condition in one filter transformation. But in this scenario, we have two conditions to write. So any guess what do we have to do here in this mapping to write two filter conditions?
We have to use two transformations.
Yes, correct. So we have to create two filter transformations. go to the minimum transformation, create. So from this list, you select the filter transformation. FLT1, this is the first filter. Like this, you create a first filter transformation. Again, we have to create a filter transformation, FLT2. This is second filter transformation. Create, done. Like that, two filter transformations we have to create. Now from the source, we have to select all the ports, drag and drop to the first filter transformation. Same way, parallelly, we have to drag and drop to the second filter transformation also. Now tell me, is this one to many or many to one? Which type of relation is this?
One to
One to
many.
many.
This is one to many. Is it valid in Informatica? Which one is valid? One to many or many to one? Which is
Many to one.
valid?
One to many is valid.
One to many is valid. Right? In the last class we discussed. Okay. So here I have shown you one to many is valid. One port to multiple ports we can connect, which is valid. But in the last class we tried to connect many to one. Multiple ports to a single port we tried to connect, but it didn't take. Right? So remember, many to one. Multiple ports to a single port we cannot connect in Informatica. But multiple this one port to two multiple ports we can connect. One to many means this is how we can connect one to many. One port to multiple we can drag and drop like this. Parallelly we have connected. Now open the first filter transformation. Here we are going to write a condition DNO is equal to 10. Whereas in the second filter transformation, we will be writing the condition DNO is equal to 20. Go to the properties tab. So here we can write a condition DNO is equal to 20. Okay, so from first filter, we'll select all the ports, first filter to the target definition, and then second filter select all the ports, drag and drop to the second target definition. So go to the menu repository, save. That's it. So like this, from one source, we can load the data into multiple targets like this. Now with this, we have created the mapping. Now after creating a mapping, let's say we have created a mapping session was everything and we have started execution. So as soon as we start execute, the reader will get the first record from the source, one Ali 10. So one Ali 10 is the first record. So that record, it will send it to which filter? First filter or second filter? One Ali 10, where it will send?
First filter.
This first filter only.
What is So one at a time it will send to the first filter. Is it only first filter?
It will send
We
to
have
both, but
connected.
will be
Yeah,
denying it. We don't need.
exactly. Yes. First, what it will do is, since we have connected parallelly, right? Since we have connected, this is called parallelly. Parallelly, we have connected from the source. It will send it to both the filters. It will send to the first filter as well as the second filter. So in these two filters, now which filter will satisfy the condition?
That first filter will be satisfy the condition.
Yes. So it will send to the first filter. I mean, like it will send to both the filters, but so first filter we have department number 10. First filter will satisfy the condition and it will pass that record to the first target. And a second filter transformation will receive that record, but the condition will not satisfy, it will just leave that record. So first department number 10 record will be loaded into the first target table. See, very simple. We are not writing any program here. We are just drag and dropping, creating the transformation, giving the links, right? But you have to know the scenario. Okay, when we have to create filter transformation, when we have to create an expression transformation, what properties are there in expression transformation, how to write the functions, what are different functions are there, how to write a condition, if there are multiple conditions, what we have to do, like that you should have to know. So if you know these things, you can easily create these transformations. It is not difficult, right? Okay, so like that, that's the reason this is tool. Tool means we will not have to write any program. So many of the times we just have to drag and drop, creating the boxes, giving the links like that, it will be there. Please be on mute. So if I ask any question, you can unmute and you can give the answer. Otherwise, because there is some lot of background noise. Okay, fine. Now, so like this, from one source we have loaded the data into two targets. Next, second record. So after loading the first record, now the second record, 2 Ravi 20. So now the department number is 20. So 2 Ravi 20, it will send to both the filters. This time, since we have the department number 20, second filter will satisfy the condition. Second filter will load the data into the second target table. How about this one? 3 Rajas 30. So now here department number is 30. So 3 Rajas 30, it will send to both the filters. Now which filter will satisfy the condition? So is that the first filter or second filter?
Both filter will not satisfy the condition.
Exactly. So both filter will not satisfy the condition. Okay, both filter will leave that record. It will not load into any of the target. And then next record, DNO 10 we have 10 first filter will satisfy. It will load into the first target. 20 it will load into the second target. How about the null value? Null means empty, blank. There is nothing. There is no department number. 6 John null. It will send it to both the filter. Is it going to satisfy any of the filter condition?
No.
No. Okay. So null value we cannot compare, or it will not compare the null values. Null value cannot be comparable. So we have to say null value cannot be comparable. So it will not compare. It will just leave those records as it is. It will not do anything for that record.
So only in one filter can we give multiple criteria? Only we can only single criteria.
Not criteria, condition. It is not
Condition.
criteria. Yeah. So terminology very important. So I told right in one filter transformation allows to write only one condition. One filter transformation allows to write only one condition. We cannot write multiple conditions. Got it?
Got it.
Yeah, so always one filter transformation allows to write only one condition. We cannot write multiple conditions. If we have multiple conditions to write, you have to create multiple filter transformations. Got it? So we have to write multiple conditions. For multiple conditions, we have to create multiple filter transformations. So if you have 5 conditions, then you have to create 5 filter transformations. Okay, if you have 10 conditions, then you have to create 10 filter transformations. If you have 100 conditions, are we going to write 100 if you filter transformations? So if you have 100 conditions, are you going to create 100 filter transformations? Means no. Okay, so we cannot create those many number of transformations. More number of transformations mapping will take more time to execute. Okay, so you can create 2 transformations or 3 filter transformations, but you cannot create hundreds of filter transformations.
If
That
we
is
have
not
requirement, then we have to create on the transformation as well.
Yeah, we cannot create 100 transformations. That's what I'm saying. If we have requirement to create 100, we cannot create 100 filter transformations. Okay, to overcome that, if there are multiple conditions, okay, instead of creating the 100 filter transformations, we have another transformation called router transformation. Okay, so router transformation is for to write multiple conditions. So in filter transformation, we can write only one condition, whereas one router transformation, we can write how many conditions? N number of conditions, multiple conditions. If you have 100 conditions also, you can create only one router transformation. Okay, remember, filter transformation allows to write only one condition, router transformation allows to write multiple conditions, we can write n number of conditions in one router transformation. So that is the reason generally in real time, if you have only one condition, you can create a filter transformation. If you have at least two conditions to write like this, okay, are we going to create two filters or are we going to create one router? Which one is the better? Creating the two filters or creating the one router? Which one is the better?
Router would be better.
Router, because less number of transformations mapping will take less time to execute. Okay, so less number of transformations will take less time to execute. More number of transformations will take more time to execute. Okay, so we cannot create more number of transformations. We can create only a less number of transformations in the mapping. Okay, so that is one advantage. Instead of creating the multiple filter transformations, we can create a router. And also we can track the error records. Suppose let's say in this source table, okay, so here in this source table we have, okay, so we have 10, 20, 30 and null value. So we have two departments 10 and 20, that's why we have two target tables. So let's say this is the error record and this is the error record. So filter transformation, it will just leave that error record if the condition doesn't match, right? Okay, so is it going to do anything with that error record filter transformation? No, right? So filter transformation will not do anything if there is an error, if there is any error record. So filter transformation, it will just leave that error record. But we don't want to leave the error record. Okay, if the condition doesn't match, if the condition doesn't satisfy, we have to track that error record in a log table. Okay, so we have to track the error record in a log table. So log table means like this, we have to create another table, log table. Okay, so if the condition doesn't match, then such type of record we have to consider that as a error record and we have to load those error records in a log table. Got it? Clear, right?
So for
Okay.
DR equal to we have to give in the other filter condition like that.
What is that? Can you repeat again?
So we have to give like department number as null in the other filter.
We don't know what are the error records are there. We know the valid records condition. DNO 10 we know, DNO 20 we know. But 30 null or we don't know what are other department records are there. Other than 10 and 20, whatever it comes, all those records we will consider as error records and we have to send those error records to the log table. We'll see how to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so whereas in filter transformation, do we have such type of option to track the error records? In filter, do we have such option to track the error records? What filter transformation will do if the
Router transformation.
filter transformation, what it will do if the condition doesn't match?
The record will go to the log table.
In filter transformation, if the condition doesn't match for any of the record, what it will do?
It won't load
Yeah. Yes,
the,
it won't load into the target, right?
yeah.
Okay, it will just leave that record. We have to say it will just leave that record. It will not do anything for that record. It will not load anywhere. It will just leave and it will continue to process the next record. Got it? Okay, so filter transformation, if the condition doesn't satisfy, it will just leave that record as it is. Whereas router transformation, we have an option to track the error records. Got it?
Okay.
So we will see how to do that. So now what we are going to do in this scenario. So before that, have we created the session workflow for this filter to no, right? For this filter, this mapping we have not created, we have not executed, right? Let me execute this one and show you the output. After that, we will create a router transformation mapping. FLTS2T2 done. And then workflows create WF underscore this one FLTS2T2 tasks link a task like this we have to connect, and then it is going to execute. As soon as we click on start task, it will start execute. Now you can see from one source it will read the data and it will load into multiple targets. So from source total 6 records it has read. First target table 2 records, second target table 2 records. So here, so we have got first target table. We have 10 department records. Second target table it has loaded 20 department records. But for 30 and null, so it has not loaded anything. So we want those records to be tracked. Error record, whatever the error records we are getting, those also we have to track. Okay. So next scenario to practice the router transformation, we have to create one source and 3 target tables we have to create. EMP router S1. So this is the our source table for the router. So here also you have 10, 20, 30 and null value should be there. And for this one, so here we are going to create one source and 3 target tables. T1 underscore 1. This is the first target table. Okay. So here we don't have any records in the first target table. Okay, here we have to load all the 10 department records, and this is the second target table you have to create. Here you have to load all the 20 department records. Okay, and we have to create one more target table with the same structure, give the different name, which is the log table. Here we have to load all the error records. Other than 10 and 20, whatever comes, we have to load all the error records to the log table. Now, to practice this scenario, total how many tables you have to create before you start creating the mapping? Total 4 tables, one source and 3 target tables. First target table you have to load department number 10, second target table you have to load department number 20, log table you have to load 10 and 20, sorry, other than 10 and 20. Okay, so we will see how to create a mapping, and here since we know there are two multiple condition, DNO is equal to 10 is one condition, DNO equal to 20 is another condition. Since we have two conditions, we are going to create two filter transformations. Sorry, instead of creating two filters, we will be creating one router transformation. So this is a source, and how many target definitions you have to import? So we have to import 3 target definitions. So this is the first target definition where we have to load only department number 10 records into the target. So as I told you, before you create any mapping, you have to clear with the requirement. What is requirement? What we have to do? How we have to load the data? This is the second target table. So first target table, second target table we imported, and third target table is this. This we have to import log target definition. This is log. So this is the log, right? So like that, total 3 target definitions you have to import, and then go to the mapping. EMP router S1 T1 load. So like that, some name we can give. So we have one source definition router S1, and we have to drag and drop 3 target definition. A router. This is first target definition. This is second target definition. This is log. Drag and drop the log EMP router log. Okay, so this is the log target definition. Like that, in one mapping, now we have one source and we are trying to load the data into three different target tables. So first target table will be loading all the department number 10 records. Second target table will be loading all the 20 department records. Log target we will be loading all the error records. Okay. Okay, so like that, here what we have to do is, which transformation we have to create? Which transformation? Which transformation? Router. Why do we have to create a router here? Why we have to create a router? Because we have multiple conditions to write. Why do we have to create a router? Because of multiple conditions. You have to say like that. Because of the multiple conditions, we have to create a router transformation. Put the menu transformation create. From this list, you have to select the router. This is a router transformation. RTR create done. So router transformation has created like this. This is router. Okay, so we have created the router transformation here to write multiple conditions. Okay, so for that, set all the ports from source qualifier, drag and drop to the router first. As soon as you drag and drop all the ports, here we have got input group. This is called input group created. Okay, so input group got created. So after that, input group means we cannot connect from these ports to the next transformation. This is only input. It will just pass the data to the router, but it will not pass the data to the next transformation. So after creating my input group, open the router transformation, go to the groups tab. Since we have three targets, no, two conditions we have, right? Actually, we have two conditions. Since we have two conditions, what we have to do is here we have to create two groups. Okay, for two conditions, you have to create two groups. So click on this button, 1, 2. Okay, so based on number of conditions, if you have two conditions, you have to create two groups. If you have three conditions, you have to create three groups. If you have 10 conditions to write, how many groups you have to create? 10 groups you have to create. To create 10 groups, you have to click on that button 10 times. Now, since we have only two conditions, DNO10 and DNO20, so here I have created two groups. Okay, to create two groups, I clicked on this button two times. Even though if I click on this button two times, here new group 1, new group 2, default also created. Default I have not created. By default it has created. Okay, so default group, by default Informatica has created. Got it? So here by default Informatica has created. We are not going to do anything. So we will just rename DNO10. This is not a condition, group name DNO20. And right side group filter condition, here we have to write a condition DNO is equals to 10. This is the first condition. In the same router, here we will be writing the second condition DNO is equals to 20, like this. So default you no need to write any condition. So DNO10, DNO20, like that two conditions we have to write. Click on apply OK. As soon as you click on apply OK, it will be created like this DNO10 group, DNO20 group, and a default group. All the record from source to router input group it will pass. So here router input group, as soon as it receives the record, it will pass that record DNO10 and DNO20 group. So whichever the group condition satisfies, corresponding to target it will be loaded. If the condition doesn't satisfy, then it will send that record to the default. So from DNO10 group, we will be connecting to the first target because all the DNO10 record we have to load into the first target table. DNO20 we have to load into the second target table. Other than DNO10 and 20, all it will pass to the default group. From default, we will be connecting to the log target. Save. That's it. With this, we have created the mapping. So for this mapping, as soon as we start execute from the source table, this is our source table, right? So source table, it will read the first record. First we have one early 10, one early 10 first record, it will pass to the router. Router input group will receive one early 10. It will pass that record to the below DNO 10 and DNO 20 group. So DNO 10 record, whatever the groups we have created, it will pass to all those groups. Now in this group, in these DNO 10 and 20, which group condition will satisfy for the first record? DNO 10 group or DNO 20 group? In these two groups, for the first record, which group condition will satisfy? DNO 10 or 20? For the first record. What is the first record? One early 10 we have. So one early 10, it will. Yes, go ahead. Which group condition will satisfy?
Yeah,
DNO
first
10.
group.
Yeah,
DNO
DNO 10 group. So DNO 10 group will satisfy the condition, right? So DNO 10 group will satisfy the condition here. Okay, so since this DNO 10 group condition will satisfy, it will pass that record to the first target table. Next, second record, 2 Ravi 20. So for 2 Ravi 20, source it will pass to the router. 2 Ravi 20, from here it will pass till here. So first, it will not send it to the default group. Whatever the groups we have created, it will pass that record to that group only. Now, for the second record, which group condition will satisfy? 20 group, right? Okay, so for the second record, it will satisfy the 20 group. Okay, 20 group we have connected to the second target. So it will send that record to the second target. Got it? And then next, 30. 3 Rajesh 30. So 3 Rajesh 30, first source it will pass to the input group. Input will pass that 30 department record till DNO 10 and DNO 20. So in these two groups, which group condition will satisfy?
Group.
Which one?
Default.
Okay, so it will, what it will do is, so since the none of the group condition, we have to say for whatever the input value it has received, for that input value, none of the group conditions are going to satisfy. Okay, since none of the group conditions are going to satisfy, it will pass that record to the default group. Okay, so when the record will go to the default group, when the record will go to the default group,
When condition will not satisfy.
yeah, so if the conditions will not satisfy, then only it will pass that record to the default group. Got it? So default group we have connected to the log table. Okay, now that error record will be there inside the log table. Got it? So 30 record will be loaded into the log table. In the same way, 10 it will load into the first target, 20 it will load into the second target. For null value also it will not satisfy any of the group. That's the reason it will go to the default group. That null value record also will be there in the log target. Got it? Okay, so this is how we have to create a router transformation to write multiple conditions. And if you want to track the error records, then we have to connect from default group to the log table. So if you don't connect a default group to the log table, also fine, it will work, but it will not load any of the error records in the log table. So if you don't connect that log, if you don't connect that default group to the log table, so it will not load those error record into any of the table. It will just leave those error records. Start workflow, started execution. Now it is running. Total 6 records are there in our source table. Out of 6 records, 2 records loaded into the first target, 2 records loaded into the second target, 2 records loaded into the log target. So we know first target table should have all the department number 10 records, and the second target table will have all the department number 20 records, and then log target table will have, apart from then 10 20, whatever the error record comes, all the error records will go to the log table like this. This is how we can track the error records in router transformation. If the condition doesn't satisfy, it will pass all those records to the log table. Log table, if you connect to the router default group, it will, if you connect to the log table, it will send all the error records to the log table. Right? So that's it. Okay.
I have one question, Ali. If we add record in source table, so this will get automatically updated or mapping or not?
What is that? Can you repeat your question?
If we add another record in source table,
Okay, source table, another record with which, what department number?
what department means any department number. If we add a one row extra, so this will get automatically updated in workflow manager or not?
No, question is wrong. How it will update in the workflow? What do you mean by that updating that?
If we write a query and insert into value, we have added one record. So here this will get automatically updated record or not?
So if you add a new record, not update.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah,
add
new
a
record.
new row in the source table, you no need to make any changes inside the mapping or a session or a workflow. You no need to touch anything.
Okay.
Okay. So if you execute start the workflow, so if that a record having the department number 10, then it will load into the first target table. If that record is having department number 20, then it will load into the second target table. If that new record is having 10 other than 10 and 20, it will load into the log table. We no need to make any changes inside the mapping or a section or anything. We no need to update anything. Automatically, that record will be loaded into the corresponding target.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so we are not going to do anything inside the mapping if you add any row here. So if you execute, automatically that will load the data into the corresponding targets. Here. Okay, next. Any other questions?
Between the run and run script,
What
when
is
we
that?
use run script.
What is that run script? Okay,
Run
run.
script.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So here we have button run script, right? So this one I have told you, no? The first class only I have told. In the first class I have told you when we can write, when we have to execute run script. Can anyone tell me when we have to use run script? What is the use of run script? When we have to click on that button? Any idea? In the first class I have told.
It runs the whole script, right? It runs the whatever is there in the whole script. Is it not? Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's little bit correct. I mean, like somewhat correct, not complete.
No, run script and we will use and before commit.
Run script we use.
Uh, uh, this before commit option.
Before commit option, what it means? No. Exactly. So Nisar has shared his answer from the chart. That is right answer. Okay, can you read this one? What is the answer here we have? Not to enter, to execute multiple scripts altogether. Okay, that is the right answer. Okay, so now here we have multiple SQL script, right? So till semicolon, this is one SQL script or SQL query. So this is another SQL query. This is another SQL query. This is another SQL query. all multiple SQL queries all together. If you want to execute one after the other, then we have to click on this button, run script. Okay, so not before commit and not like that. So multiple SQL queries in the first class example, in Informatica first class example I explained. So there I have written multiple insert statements, right? 4 or 5 insert statements I have copied, and then I have made the changes to those insert statements, and those multiple insert statements I have executed all together by selecting 4 or 5 multiple insert statements I have selected, and I click on that run script button. So this is run statement is for to run a single line SQL query, whereas the run script is for to run multiple SQL queries together one after the other. Got it? Yeah. Understand, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so that's all about this router transformation. So today we discussed filter. In filter, 2 scenarios you have to practice, and router we have 1 scenario to practice. So these 3 scenarios are there today to practice. We will continue tomorrow same time. So again, once we have not started the real-time scenarios. We are just trying to understand each and every transformation functionality. What different properties are in source qualifier, expression, filter, router, right? Different properties when we have to use this one. Once we know some around 10 transformations, then all together these multiple transformations we will be implementing in the real-time scenarios. So that time I'll explain the scenario. You have to tell me the transformation. You have to decide the transformation. Okay. So when you can able to decide the transformation means if you have practiced all these things, if you know what is the purpose of each and every transformation, then as soon as I explain the real-time scenario, then you will be able to decide the transformations. Got it?
Yes.
So that is the reason you have to practice all these things. So if you don't practice, then if I explain the real-time scenario, you don't know like which transformation we have to create, for what purpose we are creating the transformation. Again, all these transformations we'll be discussing. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all for the day. Thank you. We'll continue tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
If you have a minute, I can ask one question. Oh, he left already.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me share screen.
Okay, so before that, just wanted to ask you one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you along with you, your friends also joined, right? How
Yeah,
about the
there's
others?
few other friends like what's his name, Shabazz, and
Moise.
yeah, Moise. Moise, he's not feeling well, so he's not. He didn't join.
Okay,
So some
and one
allergy.
more.
Moise,
Total 4, right?
1, 2. Yeah, Fazil and Moise. Yes, 4.
Not Fazil. Fazil different.
Then only 3, I guess, right? Me, Shabazz, and Moise. Moise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened to Shabas? He's not going. He don't want to continue or what?
So he did not join today. I did not see that. I don't know.
Yesterday also he didn't join.
So yeah, he didn't join. So he met me today. So we practiced all the classes till yesterday.
Okay.
So he was having some other work, so he didn't. So we did the practice. So he's up to
But he
the.
will continue, right?
Yes, he will continue. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
So
just
yeah,
to know whether he will continue or not.
yeah, he will continue. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So I have the table already. I was doing the practice while you were saying, where you explained. So I have one null record. Two of the department numbers are 10 and 10, 20 and 20, and one is 40.
Yes.
So I've created three targets: T1, T2, T3.
Okay.
So forget doesn't matter with the naming convention. So it's this one is the. So here when I ran the T1, I ran the workflow as well. So it says 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why it has
Yeah.
4.
Because you have executed multiple times. Same workflow you have executed 2 times. First time when you executed, it has loaded 1 file, only 2 records.
Let me see.
Second time again you have executed, again the same 2 records will be loaded into the target.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yes, I have it 2 times. So it was okay. It didn't run before. I just refreshed
Yeah.
it.
So you can see 2 times you have executed. That's the reason 2 set of records will be in, 2 set of records inserted.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have. And how to get the workflows back? Actually, I had other workflows as well. Sorry, not these.
Not those.
The queries actually. Sorry, I had too many queries actually written here. I was trying
No,
to
that you
practice that.
cannot. No, you cannot get back those things. So before closing, you have to save whatever the queries you have written. You have to save those queries. Then only.
Uh, it's been long time for me to using this SQL.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.